Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when they must face a hard truth. Our success or failure, our joy or sorrow, our prosperity or poverty rests not in the stars, not in fate, not in chance, but in our habits. The great architect of personal achievement taught us that thoughts are things, but thoughts alone are not enough. They must be translated into action, and action repeated becomes habit. It is these habits, small, unseen, often ignored, that ultimately shape the course of our entire lives. If you want to shift your life, you must begin by shifting the habits that govern your mind, your time, and your choices. You see, success is not a lightning strike. It is a quiet rise of disciplined action. The way you wake up, the way you speak to yourself, the way you handle failure, the way you pursue your goals, these are not trivial routines. They are the foundation of your destiny. Hill reminded us that every man is the master of his fate, the captain of his soul. But how can one master fate if he cannot master his mornings? How can one control his future if he cannot control his impulses? Let me tell you this. The world does not reward what you wish for. It rewards what you prepare for. And preparation is a habit. Discipline is a habit. Gratitude is a habit. Gratitude is a habit. Persistence is a habit. Want a new life? Change your habits. Want wealth? Adopt the habits of wealthy thinkers. Those who budget, invest, and multiply value. Want peace? Practice the habit of forgiveness, mindfulness, and gratitude. Want power? Build the habits of courage, focus, and decisive action. Your habits are the blueprint of your future. Your subconscious mind, a powerful force often spoke of, is constantly being programmed by your repeated thoughts and actions. So I ask you, what are you programming it with? You don't need to make massive changes overnight, but you do need to start. One small shift, one decision to rise earlier, to read instead of scroll, to speak hope instead of doubt. Instead of doubt, that one decision, repeated over time, becomes the lever that moves your life. Hill wrote, "You are the master of your earthly destiny. You are not stuck. You are not doomed to repeat the past. But you must act. You must take control of your habits." So today I urge you, look at your life not as a series of circumstances, but as a reflection of your habits. Shift those habits. Rebuild them, reclaim them, renew them. Because when you shift your habits, you shift your life, and the world shifts with you. Thank you. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your destiny. They are the silent forces that guide your decisions, control your reactions, and build the road you walk every day. Whether you are aware of them or not, your habits are constantly shaping who you are becoming and what kind of future you are creating. Napoleon Hill emphasized this truth throughout his teachings. What we repeatedly do, say, and think becomes who we are. Many people search for success in grand gestures or dramatic changes, but the truth is far more subtle and powerful. It lies in the small, consistent behaviors, the habits that govern how we spend our time, how we manage our thoughts, how we treat others, and how we treat ourselves, These seemingly minor actions form the foundation of your entire life's trajectory. One man may wake up early, read, plan his day, and take steps toward a definite goal. Another may hit the snooze button, scroll through distractions, and drift through the day without direction. Shoo. Over time, those differences, rooted in habit, create completely different lives. You cannot escape the influence of your habits. They determine how you respond to stress, how you handle failure, and how you seize opportunity. They dictate how you manage your money, how you treat your health, and how you build or break relationships. The key to changing your life is not found in one-time effort, but in the consistent repetition of positive actions. That's the essence of habit. Napoleon Hill believed that success is not an accident, it is a system, and habits are the gears of that system. A person who adopts habits of self-discipline, persistence, and focused thinking is far more likely to achieve success than someone relying only on talent or luck. Why? Because habits eliminate the need for willpower in every moment. When something becomes a habit, it becomes automatic. It becomes automatic. You no longer debate whether to do it. You just do it. And when that automatic action is productive, it becomes a step forward in the journey of success. Most people underestimate the compound effect of habits. A single good habit practiced daily may not seem to change your life overnight, but given time, it can reshape everything. The same is true for destructive habits. What begins as a small compromise can lead to lifelong regret. Your future is not written by fate, it is written by repetition. So, if you want to take control of your destiny, begin with your habits. Identify one habit that is hurting you and one that can help you. Replace the bad with the good and commit to it. Not for one day, but for a lifetime. Because in the end, it's not what you do occasionally that defines you. It's what you do consistently. Your habits are your true power. Master them and you master your destiny. Every great achievement begins with a single thought. That thought, when repeated with belief and emotion, begins to shape how we feel, how we act, and eventually what we become. Napoleon Hill taught us that our thoughts are things, not just fleeting ideas, but powerful forces that mold our lives. When a thought is nourished and allowed to grow, it forms the foundation of a habit. And that habit, when practiced consistently, becomes reality. Your mind is the starting point of everything you do. If you constantly think thoughts of failure, doubt, fear, or limitation, those thoughts will gradually become your belief system. That belief system influences your actions, and your repeated actions become your habits. A person who constantly thinks I'm not good enough will behave in ways that confirm that belief. They may avoid challenges, procrastinate, or settle for less. Over time, that thought has not just remained in the mind, it has become a lived experience. On the other hand, a person who trains their mind to think, I am capable, I am focused, I am determined, begins to act with confidence. That confidence leads to action. That action, when repeated, turns into a habit. And that habit, whether it's the habit of speaking with purpose, working with discipline, or thinking with clarity, eventually becomes a reality of success and achievement. The process is simple but profound. Thoughts, right arrow actions, right arrow habits, right arrow reality. Your dominant thoughts influence your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you feed it. That's why L emphasized autosuggestion, the practice of deliberately feeding your mind positive, empowering affirmations until they take root. When a thought becomes deeply ingrained, it becomes automatic. You don't have to remind yourself every day to brush your teeth because you have it. The same principle applies to success. If success oriented thinking becomes a habit, it guides your choices without struggle. Many people try to change their lives by changing the surface, changing jobs, changing partners, changing cities. But true change comes from the inside out. If the same negative thoughts persist, the same results will follow. Only by changing your thoughts can you change your habits, and only by changing your habits can you change your reality. It is not enough to think positively once in a while. You must train your mind daily. You must be vigilant with your inner dialogue. You must monitor what you allow into your consciousness, because everything you allow yourself to think contributes to the reality you are building. Your current life is the result of your past habits, which were born from your past thoughts. If you want a new reality, start planting new thoughts, Nurture them, repeat them, act on them, let them become your new habits, and soon your life will align with the reality you once only imagined. Everyone wants change. People dream of better health, more money, stronger relationships, and deeper happiness. And deeper happiness. But what many fail to realize is that real lasting change doesn't come from wishing or hoping. It comes from altering the patterns that guide your daily life. You simply cannot change your life without changing your habits. Habits are the automatic routines we follow every day. Most of the time, we don't even realize we're following them. From the way you wake up in the morning, to how you respond to stress, to the food you eat, to the thoughts you allow to repeat in your mind, these are all habits. They are the invisible script running in the background, directing your actions and outcomes. Napoleon Hill emphasized that successful people are not necessarily the most talented or the most fortunate. They're the ones who have built habits they plan, they persist, they read, they reflect, and they act consistently On the other hand, those who struggle often live by habits that sabotage their progress: procrastination, negative thinking, avoidance, or lack of discipline. You can set all the goals you want. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, and listen to all the motivation in the world. But if you wake up each day and continue the same unproductive habits, your life will remain unchanged. That's because change is not a moment, it's a process, and that process is driven by habit. Think of habits as the steering wheel of your life. If you're not holding it, your life is running on autopilot. If you don't change direction, you'll end up where you've always gone. To shift your destination, you must take control of the wheel. That starts by examining your habits honestly. What are you doing each day that is moving you forward? What are you doing that's holding you back? It's holding you back. The good news is that habits can be built. You're not born with them. You create them one decision at a time, one repetition at a time. Just like a muscle grows stronger with exercise, a good habit becomes easier with practice. Start small. Change one habit. Replace one bad pattern with a better one. Wake up earlier. Read 10 pages a day. Plan your day before it begins. Speak positively. Think intentionally. Track your progress. These little changes seem small in the moment, but over time they reshape your entire life. Taught that success is built on a series of right actions, repeated consistently over time. Those right actions become right habits, and those habits create a life of purpose, power, and peace. So if you truly want to change your life, if you're tired of where you are and serious about where you want to go, start with your habits. Because until you do, nothing else will change. But once you do, everything can. Every action you take, every routine you follow, and every habit you repeat is not just shaping your behavior, it is also programming your subconscious mind. The subconscious is the silent, powerful part of your mind that governs most of your decisions, reactions, beliefs, and emotions. While the conscious mind thinks and analyzes, the subconscious accepts and repeats. This is why every habit you form, good or bad, is essentially a command to your subconscious about who you are and how you live. Emphasize the power of the subconscious in success. He explained that it acts like fertile soil. Whatever thoughts, beliefs, and actions you plant within it, through repetition and emotion, will grow and produce results in your external life. Habits are the seeds you plant. When you repeat an action consistently, especially with feeling, your subconscious starts to accept it as a permanent part of who you are. For example, if you have a habit of hitting the snooze button, avoiding responsibility, or thinking negatively, your subconscious begins to identify you with those behaviors. It begins to believe this is who I am. On the flip side, if you wake up early, work with focus, and speak to yourself with confidence, those habits begin to reprogram your subconscious to align with success and self-discipline. The subconscious mind does not resist repetition. It accepts whatever is given to it often enough. That's why habits are so powerful. They don't just influence your day. They slowly rewrite the beliefs that drive your entire life. This is how people become stuck in cycles without knowing why. Their external actions may seem small, but those repeated habits have deeply rooted themselves into their subconscious minds, creating invisible limits. If you want to change your beliefs, change your habits. If you want your subconscious to work for you instead of against you, start feeding it new instructions. Speak powerful affirmations. Practice focus and discipline. Take small, consistent actions that reflect the person you want to become. Over time, those habits will convince your subconscious that this new identity is real. And once your subconscious accepts a new identity, it will begin attracting opportunities, ideas, and energy to support that identity. This is why it is so difficult to achieve success with the wrong habits. No matter how hard you try, if your subconscious is still programmed for failure, procrastination, or fear, it will silently sabotage your efforts. But when your habits align with your goals, your subconscious becomes your greatest ally. It will push you forward automatically, even when motivation is low. You are constantly sending messages to your subconscious through what you do repeatedly. Make sure those messages are empowering. Make sure your habits reflect the life you truly want. Because every habit is either programming you for greatness or anchoring you to mediocrity. Choose wisely, repeat consistently, and your subconscious will begin to carry you toward the future you desire without resistance. Success is not the result of one big moment. It's the outcome of small, consistent shifts made day after day. Often people think they need a dramatic transformation to change their lives, a new job, a big opportunity, a sudden breakthrough. But the truth is, massive results are created through tiny decisions, repeated consistently over time. These small shifts in behavior, mindset, and routine compound to create extraordinary change. Imagine the difference between two people who are only slightly different in daily choices. One decides to read 10 pages of a good book each night, while the other watches just 30 minutes more of television. After one day, there's almost no visible difference. After 1 week, still not much. But after a year, the first person has read over a dozen life-changing books and trained their mind for success. The second, they've stayed the same or worse, regressed. That's the power of small shifts. Principles emphasize this truth over and over. Success isn't accidental. It's built on the back of repeated intentional actions. The human mind, and especially the subconscious, is shaped not by one-time efforts, but by repetition. When you make a small positive change and stick to it, you're not just improving that one area of your life. You're building identity, discipline, and momentum. The beauty of small shifts is that they are manageable. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just waking up 30 minutes earlier, writing down your goals each morning, drinking more water, practicing gratitude before bed, or choosing your thoughts more carefully can slowly but surely redirect the course of your life. These changes don't feel overwhelming, and that's why they work. They're sustainable, and when sustained, they compound. Think of it like a plane taking off from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot adjusts the nose of the plane by just a few degrees, it doesn't seem like a big change. But over the course of thousands of miles, that tiny shift will land the plane in an entirely different city, or even a different country. The same is true with your habits and mindset. A small adjustment in how you spend your time, how you think about yourself, or how you react to challenges can redirect your future completely. The mistake most people make is looking for instant results. They try something new for a week or two, don't see dramatic change, and quit. But if you stay consistent, if you trust the process, if you keep making those small shifts every day, change becomes inevitable. It may be slow at first, almost invisible, but then it becomes exponential. Massive results don't come from massive effort once. They come from small shifts multiplied by time. If you want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect moment. Just begin. Change one habit. Upgrade one thought. Take one small action today and keep going. Over time, those little steps will carry you to a place you never imagined possible.